I totally forgot about this jacket ceremony. I probably should have tied a longer tie, so I feel so embarrassed right now. I'm going to echo what a few people already said tonight. I want to thank Kate Souter. I definitely appreciate her patience with me and my last-minute requests. Wasn't the most easy thing, but Kate, thank you. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me for this prestigious award. I also want to thank and congratulate the other members of the 2024 Hall of Fame class. Before I received the call from A.D. Holler, I hadn't really reflected on my time here in East Lansing. And I really believe as we take this journey we call life, it's like being in a car. And that rearview mirror that we have in your car is a lot smaller than your windshield, because I tend to spend more time focused on the future instead of the past. But for tonight, I'll make an exception. My favorite thing about being a Hall of Famer is now I've got some street credibility. Now my daughters won't roll their eyes when I tell them Daddy used to have some pretty good athletic ability. Now they can finally believe me because I got a Hall of Fame jacket. And you know what, this generation, if it hasn't happened on TikTok, has it really happened? This also happens to be TCU's family weekend. My daughter Michaela is a freshman there. I want to thank Michaela, Malia, my wife Erica, for being here and choosing to celebrate this night, this weekend with me. I love y'all, and I appreciate you so much. Coach Mason's probably up there in heaven, tossing and turning, snapping, losing it with my facial hair because he hated beards and long hair. But I want to thank Coach Mason, Coach McAuliffe, and Coach Newton for recruiting me and giving me a chance to develop on the ice, but also grow as a person off the ice. As a hockey player, your equipment is such a big part of what you do. We've got sticks, we've got helmets, we've got gloves. I want to thank T. McGee for allowing me just to go out there and play and not worry about my gear whatsoever because he had everything taken care of. I think back to my time here on campus, I didn't really spend much time in the training room, and it's because we had the best medical staff, not just in college, but in pro sports. Dave Carrier, Dr. Downs, I want to thank you for keeping me out of the training room and keeping me on the ice. I'm thankful for my teammates. I like to say we're the #1 frat on campus. Boy, do we throw some pretty good parties. But when I talk to the guys now, either text or FaceTime, and we all have our own families, it's like we haven't missed a beat. I'm very, very lucky to have my brother and my sister here tonight and my nephews. Team Carter is the first team I've ever belonged on. As a middle child, you both pushed me. We spent many times on weekends and tournaments. I watched them win championships at baseball and soccer respectively. And I was so pumped and so happy for them, but they pushed me to win championships of my own and try to win MVPs. So thank you both. Lastly, I'd like to thank my parents who couldn't be here tonight. My dad had a stroke a couple years ago, so he doesn't really travel that much. And my mom never leaves his side in Toronto. I think Mr. Jones earlier talked about how important women are. My mom and I spent a lot of time in healthy debates because we're basically the same person. She was the ultimate hockey mom. If you know anything about hockey moms, you think hockey players are tough? Hockey moms are vicious. And to this day, I can't bring up any former coaches that cut me when I was 8, 9, or 10 years old because her blood pressure would spike, and that's not a good thing for her. She's the main reason why I'm standing here today. When I was 16 years old, I thought about quitting hockey to pursue my other passion, baseball. And she told me, you're sticking with it. After being a week on campus my freshman year, I went back home, 7-hour train back to Toronto. And that weekend, when it was up, I tried to sleep in and miss my train. I was completely homesick as an 18-year-old. And my mom dragged me out of bed, and I was crying, of course, and she said, there's no way you're passing up on this opportunity. Well, fast forward 4 years, after my last game playing at Mount Ice Arena, I was sobbing in the restroom, away from my teammates, didn't want them to see, because I knew that was the last time I was going to put on the green and white sweater. I was heartbroken. And I don't want everyone to think here that I'm a weeping willow, I cry all the time, because I don't. After my last game playing professional hockey, over a decade in the National Hockey League, I didn't shed a tear. But that just really goes to show how much I love playing here in front of the people in East Lansing. I always say the 4 years here on campus are the best years of my life. And as my girls got older, they would say, we weren't around during that time, Dad. How was that the best 4 years of your life? So I can no longer say that. But I do get asked all the time, whether I'm rocking the jersey on air or just wearing it around town in Atlanta, what made MSU so special? Why are you always flying that green and white flag? And one night in particular comes to mind. It was a night, I believe it was my junior year. I let Tiger Woods use my fake ID to get into Rick's. That same night, I brought Hootie and the Blowfish downstairs because they're performing at Michigan Festival, and I was teaching him how to skate earlier that day. And then a couple of hours later, Dan Cold, former Michigan State Spartan, brought the Stanley Cup down there to let everyone drink out of the cup. I think even to this day, everyone talks about that being the best day in East Lansing history. You know, we had lunch over there today, and the buildings have changed, like a lot of places here on campus. But the thing that makes East Lansing and Michigan State so special, it's the people. It's always been the people. So I want to thank everyone again, and have a good night. Go Green.